The mental holocaust. What a complicated term. In fact, it is a large historical process. It all began where capitalism, where capital began. In the city-states of Greek antiquity. What is it all about? It is a construction of the superstructure of coming modes of production. Production. What does this mean? Production is simply to produce, the process to produce, the process of production, the process of labor, of work, of a certain relationship between nature and society. Philosophy developed in ancient Greece and had a specific aim, objective. Right from the beginning, already in the pre-Socratics, especially with the father of philosophy, with Thales of Miletus, began a certain problem. In those days, everything was changing, as later Heraclitus would say, Pantarei. Things were changing, but they were not under control. The ruling classes of ancient Greece, especially the democrats and the aristocrats and the tyrants, they do not have everything under control. What you need to control when you have millions of slaves and a few masters? You have to control their mind. Later, the Nazis, Hitler, Goering, Goebbels, will explain this to us. But already in those days in the city-states, especially in the city-state of Athens, Plato explained to us what it's all about. But let's return to Thales of Miletus. What was he looking for? What did they want? They wanted peace, staticness, no motion, to control, to put into chains. Needed in a world outlook, a philosophy, where things don't change. When they are in the center, the earth is in the center, you call this geocentrism. But also to explain the world out of itself. Because that's what is coming, what philosophy is all about, and what kind of superstructure it will reflect, has got to do with control. A lot of change, but the mind of the workers, or the peasants, or the slaves, this has to be controlled. And so, we find Plato, the Republic, and we find all other works too. It's called Politeia, also of Aristotle. It's also Politeia. And the center of all this is control begins with education. An important part of control concerns religion and ideology. Already in Plato's Republic, in the third part, it's very, very clear that the rulers have discovered we should not tell the workers, the slaves, the truth. Truth should always be the truth of the ruling classes. As Marx later would say, the ruling ideas of every epoch always are the ruling ideas of the ruling classes. So, the mental holocaust is already based in this fact. You have to tell a lie. You have to rob. You have to steal. You have to plunder. And in the end, when it's necessary, you have to kill. You have to kill thousands, millions. And what it's all about? The accumulation of capital. The superstructure of society. Now, why we're talking about the mental holocaust? Generally, the term holocaust concerns physical torture, killing, and so forth. Nobody talks, or nearly nobody, talks about a holocaust, mental holocaust. And yet, the whole educational system, the norms, ideology, religion concerns this. Now if you look a bit back, what do we have on this planet? What do we have after cataclysms 250 million years ago, 50 million years ago, explosion of methane gas, which might happen soon in the Gulf of Mexico. 96% of life on this planet was destroyed. And so, what was left? We don't know if it was the fittest, or if the fittest did survive. But a real problem occurred. A problem which Rousseau has already indicated, and also Friedrich Engels, that history began negatively. History moving towards destruction. And of course millions that were working, slaves and so forth, women, blacks, they were interested also to enjoy life on this planet. They were really interested in truth, love, peace and all that. And they were rebelling. That's what you call class struggle. Those that were oppressed, the oppressed classes, start to rebel. Well, in reality, what was the idea of education? What was the idea of information? Was to capture the mind. And how do you capture the mind? You have to intervene in the process of thinking. In fact, you have to destroy thinking. You have to replace thinking with belief systems. You have to destroy the human faculty of intellect, of thinking. You have to burn it. You have to throw books. You have to throw ideas into the Moloch, into the burning cauldron of the system. And the only thing accepted are the ideas, the dominant ideas of the ruling classes. And so, it all began, also as I said, in ancient Greece. What was Thales looking for? For the best. What was the best? The best for the ruling classes. And what is the only thing that we remember of Thales, or his famous statement? Ariston, men, Idor, water is the best. Why is water the best? What is it got to do with water? Thales lives in Miletus. He's not only the father of philosophy. Miletus is the father of capitalism in the Mediterranean region. And the riches of the city-states, of the colonial city-states, came from the ocean, came from water. Water is the best. So they were looking for something to explain this world, out of which everything comes and into which everything goes. That is the control. In fact, that is what capital is all about. That's what philosophy is all about. So water is the best. So, out of that is developed what you call logics, a mode, a method of thinking. And in those days, ancient Greece, the method, the accepted method was formal logics, to control the mind. And what does formal logic say? It says A equals A. A thing is always itself. And A, of course, is that what rules, what decides. A is the ruling class. What must one learn? What is supposed to be educated? What's it all about in the socialization process? It's simply to teach A. And A, in reality, explains what is labor all about. A perverse relation between society and nature. That is called work, the working process. The working process produces richness, wealth, capital, profits, power, privileges. So that is what's all about. That must be in the mind. And what is the essence of all this? The physical essence of all this is that the human being, the slave, the peasant, is being exploited physically. And not only the human being, his labor force, but also nature is being exploited physically. Then that has to be controlled, to be guided, to be canalized by an instrument of the ruling classes. This is called political domination. This is the state. This is the Leviathan. Behind it is the prince. This is 1984. This is over. Right? So, and already clearly in the First Republic, although A equals A, but non-A can never be A. In other words, society has to be constructed in classes. Gold above, and at the bottom, copper, bronze, and in the middle, silver, the army, the military. Apartheid in the Republic. At the same time, that the world, the truth, what's all about, has to be censored. Like today, nowadays, you only hear the truth 50 years later, when it doesn't matter anymore. Already censorship in the Republic. So, and what is important? Militarization. Concretely murdering, as I said. Lying, this is clear, the state lies. Now it is the murdering, it is the killing for the sake, interest of the ruling classes. And of course, you cannot go to war with the ruling class. You need the slaves, you need the workers, you need the peasants. And that they are happy to go into war, march into war for the fatherland. Their mind has to be controlled. They have to have what you call a slave mentality. You have to love. Love big brother, love your boss. And this has to be installed and instilled into the mind of the workers, of the poor people. They have to believe in their leaders. They have to believe in the Messiah which is going to come. And so, but one of the most important things about the mental Holocaust, and it concerns Latin America and the Third World, Africa, Asia, and Latin America, and the Caribbean religion,